Hello, this is PaladinPrepper, and after seeing some of the videos done by Barely Seen Ranch on their rabbit operation, I decided I was going to get 4 rabbit hutches and begin raising meat rabbits in addition to the chickens. Now my only question is at this point is, am I going to put the rabbit hutches on these new shelves that I just built, or am I going to come out of here just outside my back door, and this space here under these windows, I'm going to build some sort of a small structure and stack the rabbit cages there. That's the option. Well, it's important always to never overlook the obvious, and as we see closely here, it is a 24 by 24 inch rabbit hutch. And even though these shelves are nice, and I'd sure like the convenience of knowing that the rabbits are inside my shop here, where I can tend them and I don't have to worry about rushing home from someplace because the rabbits are outside. But nevertheless, it's hard to argue with this this thing that shows that 24 inches is too tall of a rabbit hutch for these shelves. So, plan B. Well, I'm looking at another option now. I have another set of shelves over here that are a possibility. And if you measure it from the front, this one set of shelves, it looks like it's not tall enough because the 2 feet, the 24 inches, is up here in the center. However, that's just the overhang. If you go to this other if you go to the end, if you measure it from the end, then you can see it would make it. So, but it would mean that I would have to actually put the rabbit hutch together beyond this shelf here, beyond this railing. I'd have to assemble it inside. So I'll take a look and see if that's feasible. Well, it's taken quite a bit of effort to rearrange and divest, but I've managed now to clear off this shelf that's the right height. Now if I can just see if I can assemble at least one cage on that shelf. Well, the good news is we discovered that in that measurement of 24 inches, that included the legs. So if I can get this, as you can see, we have the cage assembled sufficient that it will get on the shelf, and now while it's in that position, I'll now add the legs. Okay, now here's the update on the rabbit cage. As much as I tried to put the metal legs on the cage in this location, the metal legs that came with the unit, it would not fit. I could not make it work. So, and one of the things about the metal legs is that there's a angle iron that the poop tray is supposed to go on. Well, I couldn't do that, so here's what I did. It came to me that I had bricks, and I had these tomato stakes here, and if I put it through the middle hole in the bricks, put these tomato stakes through the middle hole in the bricks, that not only would it give good support in 3 locations for the bottom of the cage for the rabbits, but also it would give me enough height that I could slide the tray in and out. And so, you know, being a good prepper, you got to do what you got to do. So I'm going to trim up these stakes here so they're not sticking out all over the place, and assemble my other cages. Well, there's one other thing I'm going to show you. Just a moment. Okay, the other thing I want to show you is, based on the picture on the front of the box, you have the opening to the cage, and if you go to the right of the opening of the cage, that here you have this feeder here. Well, it sticks through, which means there's supposed to be a hole here for this feeder to stick through. Well, guess what? If you come over to the actual unit, you will see that here we are. Here's the opening of the cage, and you look over here to the side, and there's no opening. But anyway, since it's not going to matter now anyway, because since I'm going to put at least three of these in a row, I don't think I'll be able to fit the fourth one. I'm going to put the feeder here. I'll cut a hole here and mount the feeder here, and the water thing I'll put on the other side, so that all three cages I can service them from the front. All right, there's one other thing I'm going to show you, and I'm sure there'll be preppers out there that are a lot more experienced and skilled than I am that are going to laugh at this. But it was my idea to just, for a bit of stability in this operation, I took out all those, I trimmed off those stakes, and I drilled a hole on each side and just dropped a roofing nail through, just so that the stakes would stay where they are. I'm sure there are a lot of guys that are laughing at me and probably would think of a lot better way to do that, but that's how I decided to do it. All right, well, as far as I can tell, this is my finished product on the rabbit cage, and I was able to figure out how to get the water container affixed to the side, and on the front, after a pair of pliers here and removing a section of the cage, I was able to install the feeder. So anyway, that's my rabbit cage assembly. Well, I've made somewhat of a change here. You'll notice that the shelf that I've cleaned off, now I've put everything back on that shelf, because my sweet wife pointed out to me that actually it would be much more convenient for both of us if I would move the cages up to a higher shelf. And so now you'll see, if I move around to a better location here, that 3 of the 4 rabbit cages are on the next higher shelf. And I installed the feeders and the watering container, and I'll show you a couple of things here. One of the additional things that I bought was something for them to nibble on here. This mineral and salt and mineral wheels. You can see it hanging right here. Now you'll notice here that when you put this thing together, when you take it out of the case, of course you have this tray underneath, you have side rails and all these rails, you put those together, but the initial cage itself comes with the bottom already ringed to 4 sides. They're ringed together, and they're pretty solid. Those rings don't come off very well. So in order to put the feeder on, you have to take wire cutters and cut so that you can mount this in place. The reason why I'm making a big deal about that is this. These are the first 3 cages that I did. And you'll notice here that on this one, I've left this open for demonstration. It comes with a hook. I'm recommending to you, and I'm explaining to you, that when you put the rabbit cage together, if you decide to buy this particular design, that you make sure that before you cut the holes, before you cut this hole here, before you take your wire cutters and cut these wires, that you open this and hang it up. It comes with a hook that you hang in there, and you do that. The reason why is that tells you that the rabbit cage is right side up. And so now if that is hanging up there, then you know that it's right side up, and you can cut the wires to mount your feeder. The reason why I'm telling you that is this. I'll show you that on the other feeder, let's go back over to this one, the other cage, you will notice that there's a hole here. already cut. That is because I thought, well, they just messed this one up. It was obvious that it wasn't the same width. You know, this side, the side that I have the bottle on, is a narrow, it's less distance from the corner to the edge of the door. So then I realized I had the thing upside down. And so I had to turn the thing over and then cut the hole. Yes, I'm willing to admit that I had the thing upside down to save you the trouble. So I'm just saying, make sure you have the thing right side up before you take the wire cutters to your cage. And the other thing is, the last thing I want to point out to you, a couple more things, is I went and got some straw, some bedding, that I'm going to put in the cage. Now, I'm only going to put the bedding on the side of the cage that has the feeder, on that half of the cage. On the other half of the cage, I won't put any straw because they're going to poop over there. Generally, animals don't eat, they don't poop where they eat. Okay, so on all four of the cages, the bedding, the straw, will be on only that side of the cage. And the other thing is, as you'll see, since I had to clear off this entire shelf, I have these extra things here. Well, I went out today, went down to Walmart and bought a 6'5" shelving unit, and I'm going to buy 2 more of those. I'm going to be able to make more room here by putting this entire section in 3 shelves. And, as a matter of fact, in order to get those rabbit cages up there, I had to remove a shelf. Well, the shelf is right here, the one I removed. And what I'm going to do is, after I assemble the 6-foot tall shelving unit, and then I add the other 2 shelving units, this shelf that I took off is going to go on top of all 3 of those units. So I'll have, as a matter of fact, I may bolt that on for stability. Well, that's it for the rabbit cage update. Paladin Prepper.